The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised. Why am I even here? Most people probably thought Eminem come up with this. Actually, maybe I am made of chocolate. This is Max Shankroom. The trailer you're about to witness will take you back to a time when I was on TV, which means buckle up, people. Where we're going, there are no breaks.
Ooh, boy. Well. We are down to the wire. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of our Mage, the Ascension Chronicle here at McStabber Studios. I am your storyteller. I'm the Ravnos Archon. And before we jump into it, I'm going to give my players a chance to introduce themselves and their characters.
Hey, everybody. I am Mama McStabber, and I am playing Lydia Thompson of the Cult of Ecstasy.
Hello, I'm Maddox, and I will be playing Arthur Light. Technically a Euthanatos, but at this point I'm just accepting it. Yeah, hi, I'm the Paradox Spirit of Entropy. I clearly have some cleaning up to do.
Hi, I'm Ivy Raven. I play Nita Maple of the Verbena tradition, who apparently is tied to Morgan Le Fay, who's tied to Arthur Light because he's King Arthur. So, yeah.
And I am Brad, Timber Brad 411, and I'll be playing Alistair King, still and forever, worst Hermetic ever.
Seriously, a Hermetic with no prime.
Fuck Prime.
Rough. At least you're not Algorithm, the angel of maths. So, but we left off with one of the first times I think that we've ever got to see a mage do a seeking to as Arthur got to go from Arete 3 to Arete 4 And then we got to see the effects that the Avatar Storm is having on not just the real world, but on the Tellurian itself. Enough for Wrinkle to get a message across to the Cabal. And we left off with you being pulled, excuse me, into Horizon, and seeing the nothingness that exists there. And that's where we're going to pick up. We're going to pick up right where we left off. There is this massive cosmos stretching out beyond, and slowly stars are blinking out of existence. They're being snuffed out like candles at the end of their wick. There is this decagon, this kind of 10-sided polygon of a shape of a floating island that looks to have its pieces kind of being ripped apart and sucked into nothingness. It's just the dissolving. Excuse me. There are 8 jetties, kind of docks of land that shoot out from 8 different sides, and they extend out to another decagon where there is a single silhouette sitting in a different color of light for these 8 different islands. The 9th is starting to crumble, and as it does, you kind of start to shift over towards where this decagon was, and as the Cabal is pushed or pulled into this area, the Biltmore around you starts to age and weather. The new and fancy 1992 Biltmore starts to peel away, and you can see the sigils underneath the wallpaper as it's being put up. You can hear what sounds like Roxette's The Look, but in a minor key, slowed down, and it almost is like a ghost haunting the halls as you thump into this land bridge that leads to what is left of Horizon. But there are 8 versions of Daniel out there. The storm is starting to tear through into Horizon. You can see on the very edges of the horizon that everything is fraying. It's starting to look like threading as you kind of brush it and start to really fray. But you've come to a stop. You can feel the magical energies, those of you with Prime, which is, I think, everybody except Alistair. You can feel the overwhelming juice that exists here. There is this strange, aside from the lower key version of this song that you hear just on the periphery, there is no other sound. There's no sound of like wind or animals, or even like your own breathing tends to vanish the moment right after you start to hear it. Almost like sound is being eaten up as well as light, and there's no scent here. The perfume that you were used to, the kind of cleaning supplies that are used in the Biltmore, everything's gone. There is a lack of sensual scent-like information to be gathered. Stimulus is missing here. But the stage is set. How would you like to proceed?
We're not getting any reaction from Daniel or his friends Daniel.
If anything has happened, it's all been extremely quiet.
Would it be appropriate to use life to ensure that I am safe in this environment?
If you feel like you're not going to be, it is a good use of it.
Yeah, I
Sure.
think so.
Are you going to do it for just yourself, or
Ooh.
because you have Prime?
You have correspondence now too. You can check all of us if you want.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do it for everybody.
Okay. You have the life 3 to affect other people.
Mm-hmm.
You have correspondence 2, which is more than enough.
Mm-hmm. And I have
And-
Prime.
And you have Prime 2 to make it permanent.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you like to help everyone with this alien existence? This world that's not a world.
Yeah, everybody, I would like to use the successes I rolled, which I rolled 4 successes on that, to each of us get an increase in stamina.
Okay. 3 successes on
4.
life. 4 successes on life. Hot damn.
So we each get what? 1 or 2?
So 1 success will be used for duration. So you're going to make it as permanent as possible.
Yes.
While you're here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you have 3 left over. So that'll raise everyone's. That could either raise everyone's stamina by 1 for the duration, or give everyone 3 dice to resist environmental hazards. So you can have a blanket 1 stamina increase for everyone of your cabal, including yourself, or you could just give everybody 3 dice for environmental resistance. Tough choice.
I think I'm going to increase the stamina.
Okay.
Yeah.
This includes Ricardo, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And you can see that he's trying to figure out what's happening. You can see him kind of like rubbing his fingers. It almost feels like he feels weird, and he's just trying to acclimate to everything. And there is that little prickly kind of, it feels like there's this, not velvet, but that kind of fuzz that a caterpillar has on its body. Like, it just feels like every so often there's something that just rubs its way down your skin from your head to your toe.
And Lydia, you literally see she kind of glows a bit as she outstretches her arms. And everyone feels vitality in them. Like they can run that extra mile or breathe thinner air.
Now that you're in Horizon and as close to the Tellurian as you can possibly get without actually being on it, not only do you get to see this visualization of the effect much more prominently, but you can actually see that in her gestures, she has stretched out her own thread, her own existence, and has attached it to each of you. There is this binding of threading that knots itself and just kind of becomes this very taut kind of steel wool, or like this kind of metallic braided cord between the two of you as she stretches out and touches each of you with her actual avatar.
Well, I've done what I can to make sure that we can sustain here.
If I could ask a collective favor from all who can help, who here's got any semblance of like some influence with time? Lydia, I know you've definitely got it. I'll
And
also
to
look
have
at
a focus.
I'll also look at Ricardo just in case.
Yeah, I got a little bit, man. What you want?
Well, it's gonna be painful as hell for a second, but if you all are willing, I'm gonna try and set up some insurance.
Okay. Walk
Go
me through
for
it.
it.
And he'll just hold out his sword and cut his thumb and let a few drops of blood just drip onto the ground in front of him. And then he'll hold his sword out for everyone to do the same. And he points at the spot roughly in the same area, if you could.
Lydia
does.
does it.
Alistair will do it.
I don't have time. Do you want me to get involved?
Do you have entropy?
Oh yes.
That would help.
Awesome.
So just
So-
contribute.
Anita does the same then.
Okay.
And then channeling through both the sword, using it as a focus, and then placing the tip of it in the pool of mixed blood. I'm going to powerhouse through with all the entropy I've got, plus any time that I have, as well as piggybacking off of any time and entropy that I'm getting from others. And I'm just going to make this the most convenient and best time for Wrinkle to just show up. I'm calling on a paradox spirit. I might as well make
Okay.
it convenient.
So everyone is going to roll their arete since this is a communal effect that you're doing. And it's going to be difficulty 6. You're in Horizon, so focuses don't matter. Snapcasting doesn't matter.
3 successes.
3 successes so far.
2.
2 brings you up to 5.
0.
0 keeps you at 5.
And then 2 more.
2 more puts you at 7. You call on the blood, which has been your focus for some abilities for some time. Use a sword, which has its own arete, actually. So
Oh, do you want me to roll that as well?
I'll roll it.
Okay, go
Let's
ahead.
see what we get. Let's see what
Come on,
happens.
Popper's Blade, get that shit.
All 4 dice. You see there are threads that stretch out, and there is the feeling you can start to smell that cheap cologne, the smell of 3-day-old kind of cigarette smoke that has existed in a piece of clothing for much too long. And slowly you see the doors on the hallway that aren't named for anyone of Daniel's cabal open up, and you see a gentleman looks to be in an undershirt, very sheer undershirt, almost like the same as Ricardo, but he has a Hawaiian shirt, these jeans and work boots, and there is a badge hanging from a chain in the center of his chest that you recognize as Miami-Dade Vice.
Son of a bitch. All right.
From another door, you see an older gentleman, nothing on top, but he does have that little donut of hair that it stretches back into a little bit of a ponytail that's kept back there. Just a little curly cue of a pig's tail, to harken back to our conversation from before. This cheap suit that kind of looks like a worn out adjunct professor, and he has what looks to be a My First Chemistry set in one hand that just has this sets of vials with liquids in them. From another door, you see a young girl, smudged face with like grease or dirt or grime of some kind, overalls that have a name patch that looks to have been removed a long time ago forcibly. It looks like some kind of auto shop. It is obviously too big for her, but the sleeves are rolled up, her legs are rolled up, and she's got these little kind of engineer's goggles on the top of her head, and just the raccoon eyes of where they were sitting before she was called.
Do any of these people look familiar to Lydia?
Anderson White looks familiar to Lydia. Samantha Bishop, you never met, but she looks familiar. I don't think you ever met Charles Hume.
Mm-mm.
But you also see Teresa come through her door. That was marked when she was part of Daniel's cabal. And out of his door, you also see Bashir come out. And then the cheap aftershave and the smoke vanishes. But the 9 of you are gathered. Plus Ricardo.
I take it that's not what you were going for.
Not exactly, but could be useful.
Well, welcome everyone.
The people who aren't familiar with you guys kind of hesitantly raise their hand like a hello. Anderson recognizes you and immediately kind of smiles.
Mm-hmm.
Not privy to what's happened in your life.
Welcome to the end of the world.
Well, if only it was just the end of the world.
Welcome to the end of everything.
Let's try to stop it as best we can for now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
He kind of steps forward. I'm sorry. What do you mean this is the end of everything?
The hermetic known as Daniel Thatcher is currently trying to end the universe because he thinks he can correct the universe. The universe doesn't need correcting. It needs him to stop.
Look around. It's not rocket science.
You're a detective.
I think rocket science would honestly make things too complicated at this point.
All right. Noted. Noted. And he steps back.
Don't anyone else have any questions before we begin?
There are versions of Daniel standing on those pillars that basically are various, well, he inserted himself as paradox spirits, and we don't know where the paradox spirits are, honestly. So we are trying to get him out of that position and get the spirits back where they go.
Storyteller, real
Mhm.
quick.
Yeah.
Which Daniel did I, knight out of existence?
That was Mind.
That was
Mind.
time. That was
Time,
time.
okay.
Oh, that one was Time. The one that you yeeted from the former horizon. That was
the
Mind.
one that I made very unlucky, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Time's seat is currently free. If you all can maybe try and get Wrinkles' old yet young yet old ass back here, that would be useful.
He should be here somewhere.
Sometime soon.
He did contact us from this place, so
And we've made it very convenient for him to show up.
He's probably just tucked away by the douchebags Daniel.
What a band name.
Yeah, great band, terrible group.
Their music sucks. While they're talking about all of that, Alistair is gonna kind of look inward to himself, and then I want to use spirit and mind to conceal his avatar, and it's mainly envisioning a shield around his sister.
Okay. Simple enough. It's not affecting anything that's happening here, so I'm not going to make you roll for it. You definitely feel like you have created... It's almost like if you went back to your childhood, to one of those pillow forts or blanket forts or a combination of the two, and you've just kind of ushered her in, and the closer she gets to it, the younger she gets, and it becomes very hard to distinguish between memory and purpose. So if I could have you roll willpower.
Yeah. Total willpower.
Total willpower.
Difficulty?
7. You do have
3.
mind. Perfect. You do have mind, so you do feel like this is something that is being pushed on you mentally.
To all the new folks who just came in, Arthur's actually going to step up real quick. Also, before it blindsides you, hello, I am potentially the paradox spirit of entropy. Just so it doesn't surprise you if something happens later.
You see Teresa shoot straight up. Her eyes roll back and they just start to shine with this light. And her mouth opens and you hear a voice that isn't hers come out. All right, if you're done with the hellos, I could use a different conduit to get back into our actual timeline. There's 8 assholes preventing the rest of us from doing our work.
Oh, fantastic. We didn't know y'all were taking rides. Let's get this done. And Lydia's going to basically start attacking the Mind Daniel.
All right.
Because
we know who
she
she's
knows
going
he's
after.
running the fucking show.
Okay. So you're gonna have to find him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be a life and correspondence roll.
Okay. I do have focus doesn't matter here, so.
No, you're in Horizon. So as long as you have the 2 spheres.
I can spend a quintessence for.
To lower the difficulty.
I will spend 3.
Okay. All right.
All right.
It's gonna lower your difficulty to 3.
And also, just to clarify, what happens if one runs out of quintessence? Anything bad, or just you're out of quintessence?
You're just tapped out.
Okay.
Quintessence.
That is actually 4 successes because I got 2 3s and some higher numbers.
Quintessence helps.
Yes, it does.
You stretch out, and you can feel that there is a lot of shielding.
Mhm.
You can easily feel the other Daniels. They're all out there on the respective platforms. They're all in a state of different levels of anxiety. The only one that is calm and collected is the mental Daniel. And you notice that he is not on his pillar, but he is relatively close to it. He is definitely projected an image of himself onto the pillar itself. And he's using what he knows to protect himself. So he is keeping himself guarded, but he is definitely aware that you are looking for him now.
Right, because he didn't know that we were coming in the first place.
Well, he didn't know that you could find him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tough titties. That's what happens when you start fucking with the universe.
Mhm.
The universe gets mad.
As you come out onto the land bridge that connects you to the hub of Horizon, you see the image of the Biltmore replicated 8 times. Every Biltmore just has very slight differences that are tweaked towards whatever Daniel is at the heart of it. But the entirety of Horizon has become one big Biltmore with little bridges that lead to smaller Biltmores. And the only thing that's constant is that you can now hear the hurricane howling. You can hear the storm on the horizon. You can start to feel the kind of moisture, the humidity of what comes with a storm, and the scent of petrichor is sour in the nose. It's not pleasant. Who's going where?
So Lydia's laser focused on the mind one, and as she gets basically, he's in sight because she's looking dead at him. She's going to atrophy his brain.
Well, you can see him because of correspondence.
Mm-hmm. So she's going to atrophy his brain.
Okay. He's going to try to fight that off.
Yeah.
Like most of America, you will watch his IQ tick backwards.
And I will spend a willpower for an extra success.
Okay.
That's going to be 5 successes.
All right. You feel he puts up a bit of a wall.
And I will
It's
put
not
prime in it, so it's permanent.
it is not strong enough. You are trying to unhinge him, and you can feel that he has the same kind of laser focus that you have for him. He has on trying to figure out why things aren't working in his favor, and the image of him just giving the middle finger to Arthur and just kind of rubbing it in his face and just kind of angrily pushing it into his skull is one of the most permeating thoughts that he has.
And Lydia just
Wow.
starts laughing at that. Oh,
Arthur-
who would have thought you'd bring me joy, Daniel?
Arthur's gonna go towards the Biltmore that seems to be decaying and crumbling and falling apart the most, because, stick with your wheelhouse, at least at the start.
Yeah.
So
and-
I'm gonna go after that entropy, Daniel.
All right. And you see that as you get closer to it, it starts to get colder. You can see that it starts to lose its coloring. It starts to fall into shades of gray. And as you start to kind of push yourself into the hallway to come into its lobby, you see spectral versions of everyone that you've come across. Morgan Le Fay, from Morgan Le Fay to your sergeant from the Arcanum. They are see-through, ghostly apparitions, but there's something dark about them. Their lips are missing, and there's just these jagged teeth that look like they're meant to devour, to tear through flesh or worse. And they all kind of turn to look at you. Behind the desk, you can see the Daniel with the sunken eyes, the just kind of like rings of no sleep, the emaciated kind of frame, and he just points at you, and you see 4 of these spectral figures just kind of start to lurch towards you and create this wall between you and him.
Arthur's going to take a very deep breath. And as he exhales, I'm going to make them cease to be.
Oh, okay.
They're just an obstacle. I have to get through this at this point. And I know it doesn't help as much, but using through one of my focuses of elements, so in this case, air.
Okay.
Because water will shape things. Air can clear a fucking room.
Roll your arete.
Yes, sir.
As you, for the first time, you've used entropy to break things down. Before, you've never used entropy to tap into the heart of oblivion itself.
Yeah, this is a
And-
much rougher part of entropy for sure.
And even your sword takes on a hue of obsidian as you pull on oblivion itself. How many successes did you get?
Uh,
And do you have? Oh, you don't have quintessence. That's
that-
what you did.
I have one quintessence left. That's why I asked. But I do have 3 successes.
Okay. You see, you hold out your blade. It becomes this black obsidian sheen from the hilt up to the tip. And as it hits the tip, you see the image of oblivion itself in the blade of your sword. What does oblivion look like to Arthur?
At first, it looks like it's almost just flat, matte black. Like no matter what angle you look at it from, there's no dimension to it. But as you focus on it, there is a slight swirl and just the barest variation in the nothing darkness, enough for it to be noticeable as, oh, there's still movement, there's still things happening. It's just it's all moving to the same place, which in this case, metaphorically, is the tip of the sword.
And you see from the same descriptive coloration, 3 tentacles lash out, stake their respective spirits, and then just swallow them. And you hear the screams. You can hear the tortured agony. This is not a pleasant experience for them. And the moment that they finish fading into nothing, you know for a fact that they have been erased from existence.
And then I'm going to walk up to the desk and look down at Daniel and say, "Are you ready to stop?"
And he just nods.
And I'll just hold out my hand.
Roll Arete one more time as he instinctively, not willingly, tries to resist your pull.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, these botches suck.
I can't say sorry. I did it to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be 2 successes.
Okay. So the way I'm manifesting what you did to him, you did to all Daniels also long ago, is that although he has Arete 5 because he is the Chronicle bad guy, 2 of his dice automatically start at 1.
God damn.
He is the unluckiest person alive, so he has to score 3 successes to even put up a fight with any of you. So just a little behind the curtain.
God, I don't say this
Reveal.
lightly,
I
but
almost feel sorry for him. Almost.
I didn't realize how badly I reamed him until now.
You
Like,
got him
God
good.
damn.
I knew exactly what you were doing. I was like,
Yeah.
damn.
I wasn't
So-
specific. I was like, the entropy will figure out what form it needs to take just fine.
You feel
Holy shit.
the resistance in him, and it's not willing. You can see that he's not trying to fight you off. And as you make contact with him, the sword begins to lose its blackness, its dark oblivion touched surface starts to disintegrate. It starts to wash away to reveal the true blade underneath. And as it scatters and fades from the surface of the blade, so too does Daniel kind of just fade into nothing. His timeline has been corrected. He never took up entropy. And you feel that shift, and this Biltmore starts to collapse.
Right as he's fading, I will try to get one last bit of sentence in and just say, "Why don't you sleep for a bit? It'll be better for you." And then I'm going to turn and just start heading back to, the Nexus.
Okay. Anita or Alistair, who wants to go face their demon?
I can. So while all of this is going on, Alistair is just gonna clap his hands together, do this, and then just sort of kneel down and touch the ground beneath him, and he's gonna try to rouse the spirit of Horizon.
Okay. Roll your Arete, difficulty 6.
We're about to watch the Cosmos bitch slap a mage.
Pretty much.
3
Ooh.
successes.
3 successes.
Oof.
The whole Decagon shakes, and for a moment the pure vision of what Horizon is supposed to stand for, the gateway between potentiality and the real world, manifests itself, and it shrinks down back into the form that is familiar to you of Merlin. And you see him just kind of roll his shoulders, getting used to the body. But he looks at you expectantly.
It's only proper you get to defend yourself.
He smiles, and in your head you hear, "There might be hope for you yet."
Yeah, don't bank on it. And then Alistair is gonna run towards the Biltmore that looks like it's possibly spirit focused.
Okay. It's not hard to see. The one that is leaning towards spirit has a bunch of spirits kind of hanging off of it. You can see the spider webs that Arthur described from the Umbra. The large amounts of spiders that are taking up their roles, keeping it in whatever state it's supposed to be in. And as you start to approach, Merlin is with you, and you see the building, all the spiders just kind of suddenly turn in one direction and then funnel themselves into it, and you see them all combine into this disgusting kind of earthworm creature that just lets itself fall onto the building and just slide down, and you see its thousand legs just kind of sprout, and it starts to crawl and circle you and Merlin, and you see one of the Daniels kind of attached to it, kind of webbed into it. His eyes are rolled back. It looks like he has put his consciousness into this thing, and as it roars, you can feel reality shifting, and Merlin kind of puts his hand on your shoulder to reassure you, one, but to also keep his balance. And under his breath, you hear him say, "He summoned the Nexus Crawler."
Alistair, having no fucking clue what that means, is going to try to reach out and touch this bitch, and try to harm Spirit.
Okay. And are you going for the crawler or for Daniel himself?
They're one and the same.
They are. They are.
So the answer is yes.
Excellent. Well, go ahead and roll your arete.
So desperate, he needs to summon a reality warping spirit just to do anything.
6, 6, 7, 8. Boom, 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 boom.
Oof. That is definitely higher than the one success that I got. You see his mouth open like a scream is coming out, and instead of him, you hear this worm just stop. It grows a mouth just to let out the tortured, painful scream that it just felt. And as it does, you feel this wave of energy course over you and presumably Merlin. Do you have life?
2.
Oh, so you know that this is an effect that's trying to reshape your form, your actual pattern. But you get to roll your arete to counter magic it.
And what's the difficulty on this one?
6.
2 successes.
2 successes beats my 1. So you feel like for a second your bones almost turn to candy canes. You feel that taste in the back of your mouth, but you manage to fight it off. And even Merlin is forced to take a knee as he collapses. There's this throw up of just shards of cotton candy, and he forces himself back up, and there is a very close to Gandalf "you shall not pass" moment as he brings his foot down, and the energy that courses outward from him is a direct correlation of spirit as he tries to unfuse the two of them. And the serpent, snake, earthworm monstrosity just kind of curls into a striking position. Its maw opens wide, and as it does, you just see Spirit Daniel let go. Like all of the webbing that has pulled him into this body just melts away like cotton candy in water, and he just falls and lands face first in front of you.
As soon as he falls in front of me, I'm gonna reach out and touch him, and then try and lull the spirit. I guess lull him out of existence.
Oh, that's going to be a difficulty 8.
Spin some quint. Spin some quint.
I have none.
Oh my God!
With a bit of prime, could someone technically transfer quintessence to others if they needed to?
You could.
Okay.
It's you're in Horizon, not that it matters, but it is vulgar as fuck.
Do
I expect-
tens explode in this situation?
For you, yes. You're in Horizon.
All right, so 3 then.
Okay.
If it helps, ST, I expect all magic that we're doing right now to be vulgar as fuck.
I mean, if you're not, you're doing something wrong.
I mean,
Uh,
paradox really doesn't matter here.
No, there's no structure to pay attention to.
no.
I was gonna say it's also the end of everything if we don't be vulgar. So
Maybe once we get back, we'll get bitch slapped, but that's when we get back, which means that we survived. So
There's a moment where you touch his very soul, his avatar, and everything washes away. You're in the apartment where you've protected your avatar. The blanket, pillow fort is still there. And you see, for the first time, Daniel's avatar is a little boy. Little, maybe 9 or 10-year-old boy. He's got the traditional British boarding school costume, the uniform. And he just kind of like is standing so that he is peeking out from behind Daniel, kind of looking up at you. And he has fear and dread just all over his face. And you can only imagine that this must be what it looks like if someone were to try to destroy your avatar as well. And the little boy just kind of looks up at him, and then he looks back at you. I don't want to go. Do I have to go?
Everyone goes sometime.
Oh. Is
It's
it my
nothing.
time?
It's nothing to be afraid of. Just time to rest now.
And you see that Daniel is just frozen. He is thinking about everything that's happened leading up to where you are now. And the avatar little boy kind of comes around very trepidatiously, very slowly. Will you hold my hand?
Alistair will reach out.
And with that same fear, his little hand kind of starts to come up towards you. And the moment it slides into your hand, you're back in Horizon. And you see Spirit Daniel start to fade. But the little boy's still there with you. And you see that as he's holding your hand, you feel a warmth come over him as you see Sarah step up and hold his other hand. And she goes, "Come on. It's nice
She'll
over
keep
here.
you safe.
I will." And he nods and pulls his hand out from yours. There's a somber moment as both of them vanish back into wherever avatars exist. And then we cut to Anita. Where is she going? What trouble is she gonna pick?
She'll try and find the one that seems like it's the closest to forces, I suppose.
There's one that has that is a lightning rod for all of the energy that's going on right now. The storm seems to be closest to it. And you can feel the closer you get, the electricity is kind of crackling the hair on your arm, or the hair, the kind of at the end of its length, it just kind of like starts to extend outward from you. Static feels charged.
She kind of gets closer to the building. She's actually not going to go all the way to the building. She's going to stop. She wants to focus on basically creating like lenses out of like space, as it were, to bend the light. What little light there is, since you said there was like less light here and stuff. Basically, what I want to try and do is I want to basically create like 10 of them in the air in front of me in a spot, and I want them to kind of start spinning. And then I wanted to have basically using them to focus the light in one point. And this is gonna sound really goofy, but I was trying to come up with something cool to do. Basically, she'll use her hand as kind of like a last mirror, and she'll be able to kind of like punch through the light to kind of like force it as like a beam into the building, just to kind of like level the building. So
Okay,
that's what I'm trying to do.
sure.
Because yeah,
With Matter 2, it's easy enough to pull the glass from the actual windows of the Biltmore to create this effect that you want, the kind of mirrors catching what's left of the snuffing out of the stars here in Horizon. So go ahead and roll your arete. You're using forces and matter.
Yeah, I'm gonna use a willpower because I can't roll for shit. So
Sure. It is difficulty 6.
Can't roll for shit and you're still a badass. That's really impressive.
I got one success because of the willpower. Because I
Oh,
rolled a 1,
shit.
a 1, a 3, and a 6. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm the only person at the table who can't roll. So
Remind me to send you some new dice.
well, it's a good thing that you got a boost to your stamina, because go ahead and roll your stamina to soak. Once you initiate this effect, you feel your pattern try to correct itself. You can feel that at this moment, the paradox that you had accrued, it starts to bleed out from your pattern itself. But it does also force itself into your effect, and you see a lot of the pattern correction kind of start to reflect off of the mirrors, and as it does, it gets stronger and stronger, and the last impact physically destroys the pattern of the Biltmore, since it doesn't belong here, and Paradox washes away the image and the kind of ghost of the Biltmore that was pulled up to protect this Daniel that looks to be live. He looks like he doesn't eat enough. There is this crackle of electricity around him as he just kind of like holds his hands up to protect himself. You can see swirls of earth and water kind of floating around him. Like there's a rock, there's a little globule of water. Um, it looks like he has a Zippo lighter in his hand, so he has access to each of the elements in one way, shape, or form. But go ahead and roll your stamina to soak the paradox backlash.
I rolled a 10, a 9, a 9, a 1, and a 2. So do I have 2 successes?
2 successes, which is enough. So you take no damage from the paradox rearranging your pattern back to what it was. And you see that the defensive shield that had been given to this Daniel is completely gone. It's just you and him now. And the elements are at your command.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Let's see. So I'm just gonna start walking towards him, but you said he's like crackling with like electricity?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, she's going she as she's walking, I want to basically I'm going to like I want to call the thunder again, so I want to basically turn myself into lightning. So yeah.
Okay. I rotate difficulty 6. And you're just shooting straight at him like a spear.
No successes.
No successes.
Yeah. I rolled a 1 and a 7 and a 2. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you see that you try to call on the element himself, and even with the detriment that he is at, his 1 success is enough to just kind of negate your ability to call on any of the elemental forces here. And you see for a moment, like he holds out his hand, like he's expecting to take some punishment, and his eyes are closed, his kind of like face is winced, and the moment that nothing happens to him, that he feels that he's kind of stopped you from doing whatever you wanted to do, you see that he kind of like looks down at his hand and he smiles.
I mean, she's just gonna keep walking towards him. So
yeah, it isn't.
I don't know how far away I am.
It isn't a long
walking
walk
towards him.
Yeah, it isn't a long walk, and you get to him in like a matter of seconds. And he just kind of like has this smug look on his face, like you can't hurt him.
she can't hurt him with forces. That's what happens when you hyper specialize, kids.
Yeah. So yeah, no, she's going to basically like pull at the, like move her hand kind of like flat palm down toward over the ground, kind of move her hand around. She's going to basically kind of try and twist up like a some of like the stone into kind of like a, not a spear, but just kind of like a cone of sorts that she's, so she can just kind of like try and like smash it into him. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's gonna be matter more than anything. So difficulty 5, since it's matter 2.
Wow, I got a 10, a 6, and a 7.
Okay.
Finally rolled.
So it just seems like the sky element isn't quite the one that wants to work with you, but the ground sure does.
Yeah. All 3 of those going to damage will mean that you've done 5 points of bashing damage to him. He has a stamina 2, and with his 2 ones, he does not get enough to stop it. So you just hear the sound of several of his bones in his core just cracking as he is caught between these 2 cones of matter that you have pulled up to kind of sandwich him. And you see him just kind of cough up a bit of blood, and he starts struggling to breathe, and you can see that he's let go of his Zippo. It's fallen to the floor, and his eyes are wide now with fear.
Yeah, she's just going to yeah, fuck it. She's going to kind of do like what I want to try to do is I want to try and just like do like a slash with my hand, but use forces to generate like wind force to basically just decapitate him. Just put him out of his misery.
Okay.
Sharp air. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So
that is forces 2, not 3.
I'm also gonna use a willpower. So
Okay. So it's only going to be difficulty 5. You're not creating, you're adjusting.
I got 1 and a 10 and a 3, so I got 1 success with the willpower. So
Yeah. But that's enough forces damage to give him his last 2 health levels. And although you don't cleanly cut through, there's enough of a chunk that you create that's almost like if you had brought an axe down on a tree stump. There's that same kind of cleave into the side of his throat. And after a moment, just the briefest of moment, he kind of has this face like he can finally rest. And you see the eyes kind of roll back and his head just fall back. And there's this sigh of partial gratitude and partial compliance at his fate. And you see him just kind of sit there, and as the earth starts to crumble from your effect that there was no prime to hold it there for an indefinite period of time, he just collapses with it. And it looks like he's just this frail form of a man and not really some big kind of mustachioed supervillain. But we come back to Lydia and the Mind Daniel.
Mm-hmm. Whose brain is
Who-
now atrophied.
He's trying desperately to hold on to whatever he has.
Don't know what he's doing without a brain.
Or at least half of one.
All right. So during this time, Lydia has actually made her way into his version of the Biltmore. And she's basically staring him down.
Yeah, like you know exactly where he's hiding,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not difficult to find him in that little fall. You even know how to push past the false wall
Yeah.
to get into that space. And he is, for the first time since you've met him, probably in a worse position than when you saw him at the asylum off of Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
Because back then, like, he didn't have an avatar, and so he was struggling to just be human. In this space, you find him with an avatar, but without the intelligence to control it, to understand what he is. And as you can see it sliding away like sand in an hourglass, just kind of fading into nothingness, he looks pitiful. He is drooling on himself. He's trying to look as normal as possible, and he's just sitting behind what looks to be a copy of the desk that he sat behind all those years ago when he was organizing the Biltmore Cabal. And you see him just kind of knocking the fake remnants of tasks to the side. You can see him kind of holding up books with plans and journals that have annotations and stories and theories that will never see the light of day. And not once does he turn his rage on you. It's all
gone.
it's all him showing you that this was never about anyone but himself. And once his desk is cleared, that he's thrown everything to the side and that he's knocked over the books on his shelf, that he's shattered tasks, you see him just fall back.
Before he expires, I want to say one thing.
Oh, he's not dead
Okay.
or dying. Like, he just falls back, his legs are wide open and his hands are at his side. And as the drool starts to accumulate and just kind of fall on either side of his mouth, you just notice that his shoulders kind of rise and fall.
Like he's trying.
Rhythmically. Like he's crying. And he is sobbing.
Daniel, the first time I met you, I told you if you were behind this, I'd kill you myself. And she is going to cause his heart to stop.
Okay. Roll your arete.
Ooh, do 10s explode?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the perks of Horizon.
That's 7 successes.
Almost instantly, painlessly, mercifully, the heart stops. There's a last little sigh as you feel you stretch out and just sever the pattern. And the drool kind of continues for a little bit until the rest of the body catches up with what's happened, and even the tears continue, but the shoulders stop immediately. The breathing slows to a stop. And then he just sits there like a discarded puppet. And you can feel Horizon shake. You can feel the other Biltmores are currently in contest to see which Daniel is the new master of this path. And I think this is a good point to go to break. So we'll see you guys in a few minutes. Woo! Welcome back, everybody. We left off with some paradox fuckery as the Cabal was dealing with all of the Daniels that have woken up and chosen violence over their lives.
Don't worry, violence chooses them too.
It sure does. But the four of you have gathered in the central area. You can see that the four nodes that you attacked have vanished. The one that you came in from is starting to look the most intact. And you can see that one more has kind of shifted into nothing as you see Teresa, Ricardo, and Bashir kind of running back towards the center. And they look a little worse for wear. Ricardo looks like he's got the beginnings of a black eye starting to set in. And
when he
Bashir-
approaches, Lydia's going to just gently touch his eye or his face and cast healing on him.
And he just kind of sits there, lets it happen. He's just like, you should see the other guy.
I believe it.
And you see,
yeah, it's successful.
once you're done, another hotel seems to disintegrate, and you see Chuck and Anderson come walking out. Chuck is a little more hurried. Anderson has that cool guys don't look at explosions.
You don't
walk, because he is ecstatic.
Yes, he is. That is the most ecstatic thing ever.
That song's not even released in this timeline yet. God damn.
No, but it's true. Cool guys don't look at explosions.
That's right.
And there's two left. And there's a moment where all 10 of you are kind of gathered in the center. You're all looking at each other, trying to assess the damages and dealing with it. And you see one of the other hotels, just the side of it bursts, and there is this snake-like appendage that shoots out into the other one, and you see it pull one of the Daniels into the other hotel, and as it does, the one that gets pulled shatters. It just vanishes. And like King Kong, you see this massive Daniel step through, and it looks like he's literally eaten the Daniel that he pulled into his
That's
hotel.
disgusting.
And without a intelligent Daniel to control, this one has gone full apeshit.
He's gone feral.
Still a threat, but more manageable.
Yeah. But there are 10 of you
versus that one.
versus this one massive Daniel. Who would like to act first?
Oh, Lydia's going to fly off like an ecstatic, okay? Literally. She's going to hit him with, let me think. Oh, can she literally turn his feet to concrete? Because she's got matter as well as life.
Heh.
Sorry,
Damn it,
you're
it's so-
coughing. We'll wait for you to finish coughing, storyteller.
It was so good you forced his lungs to evacuate something.
I
God damn.
was clearing my throat, and then the sheer ridiculousness of the fact that I was like, who would dare? And then I was like, we're playing Mage.
I'm ecstatic. So basically, he's going to have a real hard time fucking moving those feet because they're going to be concealed in concrete. They're going to be fused together as concrete.
The answer is yes.
Does Lydia do like some mafioso quote as she does it? I'm gonna give you concrete shoes.
Gonna sleep with the fishes.
Oh, and let's throw some prime in there too to make it permanent.
Okay, why not? We're here.
You have it, might as well. Smoke if you got him.
We're on the roller coaster. We paid the fare. Oof. Yeah. To say that I wasn't prepared for that is an understatement.
That will be 4 successes. I had an exploding 10.
Okay.
God, matter plus life is mean.
You don't know what happened in the interim of the Daniels being lost, the timelines correcting themselves, and this one eating another Daniel. But the effect does take, but you do feel more resistance than you felt with every other Daniel.
Okay.
But you do see that up from the bottom of his soles up until the top of his ankles, the flesh just solidifies and becomes concrete stone, and you hear him bellow in pain. But the ankles are not enough to sustain his weight, and you hear them crack as he falls forward and just catches himself.
So now he's got nubs. And they're bleeding.
Is it possible for us to tell which Daniel this was and which Daniel that one ate? Of the ones that are left?
Given that you know which ones you destroyed, it would be a simple intelligence and investigation roll.
Fuck, I'll do that. I have so much investigation and barely ever a chance to use it this fucking chronicle.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I believe this one is
deduce-
life, though, because he's huge.
To deduce what might have happened.
Either that or correspondence is fucking with perspective to a crazy degree.
That's true. Could be correspondence.
Both are equally dangerous.
Yeah.
7.
7. All right. After I reroll this 10. Okay, so
Yeah, all you need is
4
one success.
successes.
Okay. Given that you've taken out the ones that you have, you're pretty sure that this is either life or correspondence. These are very much in the wheelhouses of both of them, because you could enhance your pattern with life, or you could change perspective with correspondence, just like you said.
All right.
So either one is what you're facing off against. You're leaning more towards life, since he did eat the other Daniel instead of absorbing him.
Yeah, it's a very visceral sort of reaction.
So
And he
yep.
used a tentacle to get him.
Yep.
All right. Arthur's gonna turn, grinning, which is creepy, seeing teeth through a skull mask with more teeth.
Mhm.
But he's gonna say, well, I think it's time to do as King Arthur would. And he's going to turn back, look up at Daniel, and say at Daniel, but to them, I hope I still remember you all. And he's going to run himself through with the sword as a focus. And Arthur's going to kill himself so that the Paradox Spirit can fully take over.
Okay.
I've got to protect Avalon.
Yeah. Do you don't have matter?
Nope.
So you
The sword's
turn,
just a focus.
yeah, you turn the sword in on yourself. You see Daniel's eyes widen, and his hand kind of shoots up towards you. And as it does, you feel that Prime has kind of pushed out in this conal shape from him. Everybody with Prime, so that's everybody except Alistair.
Can I fight
Uh,
against that? Since I sense it, can I fight against that?
It would be difficult since it's not focused on you, but you could try to counter magic it.
I'm gonna try.
Okay. It's going to be your Arete. It's going to be difficulty 8.
I'm gonna spend 2 Arete and a willpower.
Well, Arete you don't spend. You make quintessence?
I mean quintessence, sorry.
Okay, so that'll lower it to 6. And a willpower gives you 1 automatic success.
That's 5 successes.
Okay. You feel something about to shift the
Mhm.
pattern of the sword to change its material components. And as it's about to make contact with Arthur's form, you shrug it off. You fight against it. You call upon your own avatar. You could hear that swan's kind of honk in the back of your mind.
You actually
as-
see Lydia
Oh.
step in front of Arthur, and she has what appears to be glowing swan wings on her back that just create this giant whoosh of air as they flap backwards and reflect that shit right back at him.
Okay. And you see that his eyes turn to you now, and as Arthur plunges the sword into his form, there is that cold sensation in the front and back from where you've broken your pattern.
The bone armor probably falls away too.
It starts to fall off like desiccated chitin off of a dead crab or mollusk. And the other people that don't know you are all in shock. Immediately, Anderson is like, "Oh, somebody help him! Is he being controlled?" And Bashir immediately starts to pull out his focus for life, and he
Stop.
steps forward.
Coughing up blood, Arthur's just gonna say, "Please don't." And just he's it's odd to say he's trying to die quickly so that the spirit can actually use his body properly. So he's like, if he sees a light or anything like that, he's actively moving towards it.
The pieces of armor start to build themselves back up into the husk of what you had been wearing. So it's just an empty suit, and it grabs the sword handle. And as it steps forward towards Daniel, it starts to pull it out of your body like the sword being pulled from the stone.
I lean back a bit so it goes a bit faster. I want this shit fixed.
And as it tries to lift the sword, you can see Daniel again hold out his arm. And those of you with forces, those of you with matter, those of you with prime, you can sense that he's trying to undo the suit of armor. Who wants to try to counter what?
Instead, I'm going to infuse that armor with prime, matter, and life.
Okay. Anita, Alistair, do you want to do anything?
I want to reach out and touch the sword and awaken the sword's spirit.
Okay.
Definitely has one.
Anita, you want to counter magic or bolster the armor?
I'm gonna bolster the armor, but I'm also gonna add in. I want to do forces, matter, prime. So
Okay. So yeah.
And let me know when you want me to do that entropy effect roll, storyteller.
You might not need to.
5 successes to infuse the armor.
Fine. Okay.
I had an exploding 10 that just kept exploding.
Yeah, that's
what's the
why-
difficulty?
6.
Okay, I
That's
got
why
2
20th
successes.
anniversary mechanics are broken, people. Exploding tens.
Yeah.
4.
4, and Anita got
I got 2.
2. It is odd. It is as Lydia pulls life and matter and prime into the armor, it is almost like you're pulling Arthur back into it. You can see him kind of starting to vanish from where he is and starting to reconstruct himself inside the armor. The moment the sword is awakened, you see the metal of it just kind of wrap itself around the fingers that are holding it. The light that shines from it is the very light of hope itself, the essence of what it means to be unified starts to wash over all of you. You can hear just the cacophonous kind of gregarious roar of a people brought together under one banner for one cause, very much in line with what Camelot once stood for. And as Anita primes it with this force, this primal energy of every single element that could possibly go through it, the sword becomes light in the armor's hand. It is not weighed down by fear or doubt, because all of you have come together to push it to the finish line. And it doesn't even need to strike at Daniel, it just lobs the sword. And for a moment, it looks like it has this high, wide arc. Like it's going to miss and just overshoot with all the power that you have put into the armor and into the sword and into Arthur himself. And the sword stops and just plunges like a needle straight into the middle of this massive gorilla of a form. And as it staples the head to the ground, it is very reminiscent of the image of the sword in stone. There is just the barest kind of fist and a half, 2 fists of length to the blade, and the eyes dry up on the skull as it kind of looks out at the rest of you. Fear and dread has been emblazoned onto it forever. And there's a moment where the Biltmore in the background is just scattered to the 4 winds, as if someone destroyed it forcefully with their hands. On the horizon, the storm softens. Lights start to burst into creation above you as the stars themselves are reignited. And then there's, excuse me, that hard shift as you feel time and space have shifted here. Everybody's kind of standing around looking at each other, and very slowly you see the armor start to just fall off of Arthur, pieces by pieces. Just they hit the soft dirt of what's become this field. And you're in a very familiar place, to the four of you at least. The forest by the lake, the pack of wild swans with the one massive black one in the center, the castle on the hill, and sitting with the knight on the rock, on a smaller rock, with what looks to be a book that it's reading to them, is Sarah. And out of the water, instead of the lady in the lake, you see Wrinkle. And as he steps towards you, you see that the suit has a reverse effect where instead of being wet, it starts to dry off. And he just comes up to the edge of the water, puts his hands in his pockets, and just smiles with a nod. You did it. All of you came together and you did it. I'm a little surprised, but I saw this coming.
If you wouldn't mind, try not to be so sloppy next time. Please.
Excuse me. He goes, well, that's where all of you come in. See, there's a shift here. Unfortunately, what Daniel's done has created a rift that there is no fixing. But at least not an easy fix. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. And you see the other 8 paradox spirits, just primal visions of what they are. None of them have a human shape. They're just amorphous blobs of pure black, of just this green life energy, of just everyone representing the different spheres kind of encircling him, behind him. We can separate the main timeline from the rest of these timelines, but that means that these timelines are going to need someone to watch over them. This is what I kind of set in motion when I chose you. Would you be opposed to sitting on a council overseeing what could happen in this timeline, seeing as how us, and he kind of motions to his other paradox spirits, we don't know what your timelines are going to have in store. I've seen the prime timeline. I know what's going to happen. I know what needs to happen. And unfortunately, Daniel was right. Things are going to come to an end. And we're fine with that. We understand that everything has its purpose. We understand that everything has its clock. Things are created, and then things are destroyed. That is the nature of the universe. will go down with the ship, as it were. But there's no reason that these alternate timelines, these alternate possibilities need to suffer along with the rest of it.
I'll watch over which one is suffering the most.
And he snaps his fingers, and you're back at the round table room. Same chairs. Same spheres. And he looks at the rest of you. If you sit down at this table, just know that you are in it for the long haul.
Anita she doesn't say anything, just because it's become her signature trick in the last couple of episodes. You hear thunder like crash, and she basically is going to just like into the chair for the forces one. So fuck it, I'm living in a fairy tale.
Yep.
I think Alistair at that point is just gonna be like, fuck it, why not? And walk over to Anita, plant like a big kiss on her, and then sit in the life chair.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn to Lydia before I sit down. It's ultimately your choice, but I hope you don't sit down. And then he's gonna go and sit at Entropy with a calm smile.
Why would you hope I don't sit down?
You've got a fiance. Be really rude to leave him.
Anita's looking around. Isn't Ricardo in here? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's-
everybody's in it.
was
She
gonna
looks
say-
at him and she's like we won't always find each other.
And he just kind of stands there. He's like, I think this is going to be the saddest day for me more than anybody else. And as he says that, you see that Teresa has sat down at the time chair, and Bashir has sat down at the spirit chair. Chuck has sat down at the correspondence chair. Samantha has sat down at the matter chair, and Anderson has sat down at the prime chair, leaving only mind open. But he does kind of look at you. I mean, at least now we don't have to pay for a wedding, right?
Anita's just like, just sit in his lap. The chairs don't have ownership over us. They don't make the rules. We do.
And she grabs his hand, plops him down in the seat, and then she sits on his lap.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on, you two. That's the most Lydia thing. I don't know why no one else suggested it.
Also, isn't there a phrase for mental stuff called the collective unconscious?
Exactly.
I guess it makes sense.
The left and right side of the brain.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's exactly what they fucking are.
But as all of you have taken a seat, you feel that schism again. Space and time are shifting, and you start to lose sight of your home, what was home. And you see them start to fade out, and Wrinkle just kind of stands at that tense spot. All right. Well then. I hope that you will tell stories of us. And I hope that whatever happens moving forward, you all tackle it with the same tenacity, the same fervor, and the same togetherness that brought you here in the first place. Who knows? Maybe the Tellurian's not done with us. And then you feel that churn as time and space want to continue moving forward. That's my cue.
See you next time, Wrinkle.
See you on the other side. And he vanishes. He is like he is pulled forcibly into a different timeline. And all of life starts to swirl into creation in the center of this table. The Tellurian is in its barest form, and you can start to see different divergence, different timelines, different choices being made. Every choice is a new timeline to observe. But moving forward to 2018, now that all of you are immortal, all of you are paradox spirits, all of you are responsible for the mages in this timeline, what does each of your purviews look like? How do you govern what you're responsible for?
Oh, God.
You're gonna explain it like I'm 5. What do you mean?
Lydia and Ricardo govern the realm of mind with a duality. Both rationality, caution, and free thought and a little bit of wildness.
How would Anita govern the master of forces, people who want to master forces? How would you ensure that no one gets too big for their britches, having seen what you've seen?
I was gonna say Anita is probably, I don't want to say heavy-handed, but like if you try and outgrow your britches, she kind of just like, nah, this doesn't work like this. But it's also like a learning moment for them, hopefully. So, and not trying to be just like, it's not trying, it may sound like a dictatorship. It's not a dictatorship.
Iron fist in a velvet glove.
No, not even that necessarily. It's just that whole thing of like
Tough love.
show, yeah, sort of, but also like it's showing like what forces like can be, and doing it in so that like when they see it in nature, it's like it gives, it can take, but it also gives, and if it gives, it also takes. It's not always this like one way kind of thing. So yeah, I'm thinking of like imagining like a forest fire in a world that isn't a dumpster fire. Forest fire helps life grow anew. So it's giving, it's not just taking. You know, there's rain, the rain will come, etc., things like that. So it's kind of trying to show that kind of like the ebb and flow back and forth that should be going on, instead of it just being like all one direction. So, and since Alistair kissed her, you know, she's got to help make sure that life finds a way.
Yeah. How does Alistair govern over the life sphere?
I think for Alistair, kind of having that footing in both life and spirit, making sure the balance is respected and understood. Everything dies eventually. And because of that, life should be enjoyed and cherished, not always focusing on what's gone, but what's ahead.
And how does Arthur govern over entropy?
First, in a metaphorical sense, he has his regular clothes on most of the time with an empty scabbard on his waist. Because he doesn't need to be a warrior now. Not in the same ways. And it's mainly just... At some points, it's an eerie sense of it, but calm. Just calm. People start toying with entropy too much, making things, too stretched or too warped in whatever way. Just very calmly suggests this isn't a good idea. It will do nothing but hurt. Just trying to not be as frightening as an end usually is.
It is 2018. You are, for all intents and purposes, immortal. So from 1992 to 2018, you have seen the world shift. How have you helped or hindered mages continue to progress towards the Great Awakening, towards the Ascension War that's always threatening to come?
Probably by favoring them a little more than I should. Which doesn't
That was
always help them.
For everyone.
I think we all do a little bit.
Favoring the technocracy, too. Disparates, every single faction gets just a little luckier.
I think we all do favor the tradition mages just a little bit.
Okay.
Let them slide a little more often than we do others. And make sure that they move in ways that will inspire others to awaken organically.
Do you think your new given seats would have had you involved in the Week of Nightmares?
What do you mean by Week of Nightmares? Just so I know, reference-wise, because I know there's multiple versions. So
just the overall, would you have participated in helping the tradition mages deal with Ravnos coming back?
Yes.
With the whole situation?
Oh, Lydia would have done it in a heartbeat. It's killing a vampire.
I was going to say, I think Anita's kind of way of helping the world awaken is that she would allow for her element of things, she would allow for a little bit more of kind of like that magic in the real world sort of thing. So that there's kind of that, like, there's things out there you can find, you can grow that element instead of just like fake mysticism. There could actually be that people could find like real mysticism, as it were. So she would probably do stuff in the Week of Nightmares, but like she's also not coming down on it with like the hammer.
Oh no, Lydia definitely is.
Okay.
She is definitely doing all she can to assist them.
Okay. Alistair, Arthur?
Yeah, I definitely think Alistair is assisting where able, trying to restore some semblance of balance. Everything has its place and its time. And so, yeah, trying to unfuck the fucking.
And Arthur, sitting on a seat of entropy, it's more he's just trying to be present for it, because entropy will do as entropy does. So sometimes he's around the parts where it's getting corrected, and sometimes he's around the parts where it gets worse.
Okay. The reason I ask is because it is 2018. The red star has not faded. The world is still living in darkness. Werewolves have been overwhelmed by the worm. Vampires have seen elders that were thought long dead rise up and claim some of their chowder. And with the mages, it has felt like the technocracy has started to take more ground than it was previously assumed. They have taken the loss of the virtual adepts very personally, and they have started to take more aggressive actions. But that is a problem for the mages of 2018, and that is a problem that we might get to see in the future. But for now, this chronicle has come to a close, and I want to thank all of you for participating in it, and I want to thank all the viewers for joining us on this magical journey, pun intended.
God damn it.
That's it. The next chronicle, it's takes place with a school bus.
The magic school bus.
Shrink rays for everybody.
Yes.
I already know my next mage character.
Oh
so.
my god, I have no idea. I'm gonna miss Lydia, but she's immortal. Yay!
Alistair is
I
gonna
feel?
do. Alistair is gonna do everything he can to erase Nickelback.
All right,
Look
so
at this photograph.
it's a slightly less dark version of the World of Darkness then. Not bad.
I said it in the Zoom chat, but whenever like lightning hits a mountaintop or something, that's just Anita blowing at Alistair's back. So
Wow, chicka, bow, wow.
Avalon will see some shit.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Mhm.
got that life 3 for a
You've
reason,
got
baby.
4 statics up in this joint. It's gonna see some shit.
And it explains so much about the universe when we know that.
4 statics.
Right? I looked at that and I was like, oh,
Oh,
this makes sense.
this makes sense. Shit is fucked. Sometimes the fun way. Oh, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for this chronicle. We ended it 1 session early, but you know what? It flowed perfectly. Thank you all so, so much. And truly, if you enjoyed this episode, you want to join us on our Discord. We cast all our shows from our Discord community, so you'll want to hang out with us there. Also, we just have a great community, wonderful, like almost family type environment there. And it's a great place to hang out. We also do weekly Zoom chats. Most weeks we do them. Some weeks we are just too busy, but Shanky and I, as studio owners, we basically hold Zoom chats once a week for everybody just to hang out and socialize. It's not behind a paywall or anything, but we post those in Discord. So you want to be part of our community there. And if you want to check out back episodes of this season, because this season is done and the Chronicle is over. It's been a total of 4 seasons of Mage. That is all available on our YouTube. And we also have other World of Darkness games. We have Demon, we have Wraith, we have Vampire. And we have a bunch of miniseries and one-shots of other systems that you'll want to check out. Also, we have D&D and Call of Cthulhu run by our amazing European GM, Dr. Tiss, on the Ishvel YouTube channel. Thank you so much for the follow, Maybe Strange. Appreciate that and glad you joined us. Sorry you caught us on the very last episode. We weren't even sure this was the last episode until we got to the conclusion. So
I knew it was the last episode.
of course you did, because you're special, Maddox.
Yeah, Captain Entropy over here. Hey,
Captain
can I roll entropy
Entropy.
for this? Can I roll some more entropy?
Can I roll entropy?
How about entropy?
Now I don't need to
think-
worry about rolling for it. I just am entropy. It's way easier.
Every single time you're like, I'm gonna
Correct.
roll. How it is? Can I use entropy for this?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even a question. Just say I'm gonna roll my arete. Like we know it's entropy.
I'll be totally
Yeah.
honest. It was very much Maddox as a player liking having special powers, but it was also Arthur just being so naive and not knowing when to fucking stop. It was great.
Yeah. Oh God. Nuts. It was so much fun playing with you, though, Maddox. You are literally the entropy and paradox magnet. Okay.
Hey, I kept you all safe, okay?
Yes, you did.
Paradox was too busy focusing
Safe.
on me to deal with any of your shit.
All right. And definitely check out some of our friends that also stream. Ravnos Archon here, our storyteller, runs games on his own channel. Ravnos Archon, tell us what you got going on.
Well, we've got a couple more weeks of Vampire on Mondays since we're taking the last 2 weeks of December off and the first week of January. So, families and stuff and holidays, people get together and stuff. Now that this is over, my Tuesdays will be back to Werewolf the Wild West and Legend of the Five Rings in the new year. And Friday is on hiatus until the new year, but that had Dungeons and Dragons, and I think it's going to be coming back on a different day. So I'm going to have my Fridays free again. So who knows what trouble I might get into because of that.
Ooh. And of course, the Ivy Raven also streams on her channel. Tell us what you got going on.
I stream video games. Real good. Not really.
She's a lot of fun to hang out with while she games. She talks about all the stuff she plays here at McStabber Studios.
True.
She'll talk about anything and everything.
I will talk about anything. I will talk Theorycraft. I will talk rules. I will talk the games that are currently ongoing. I will talk about the game I'm playing. I will talk about your mama. I don't care. Bring it up. I will probably talk about it.
You know, I mean, is your mom hot? I'm just
Look, if your mom is single, hit me up in chat.
Oh, goodness. And of course, you can check out merch that we have for our studio. I still haven't made Mage merch yet because I have been just slam busy and exhausted. It is unfortunately seasonal affective disorder time for me, and everything is a monumental effort right now for me. So... But I promise I will actually get some Mage merch, especially, hashtag cult quotes on a t-shirt and also, what was it? We be criming? Yeah, we be criming. Yeah, because we
also
totally
need
did
one.
B&E and stuff like that. It was
we also
great.
need one that just says,
Be
I'm a
criming.
Paradox Spirit now, and all I got was this t-shirt.
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Please put that in the Discord where it goes so that I will remember it because I have a hard time remembering.
We be climbing.
Should have the qualifier of stupid t-shirt, because that just makes it too good.
All I got was a stupid t-shirt. Oh my goodness. And make sure you are signed in at our Zazzle store. The link is in chat right now because there is some merchandise, especially for our Vampire Chronicle, if you are a fan of that. That does require you to be signed in to show that you are an adult because I had to rate it as adult because we have Camp Wish a Motherfucker Would t-shirts with counselor on the back. So those had to be listed as adults, so you need to be signed in to see them. All right, so if you want to support the cast of this amazing chronicle, you can do so by giving donations at the link posted in chat, or show us your biddies. For real. Bits are given to players, not myself, or my husband Shanky, who is the tech weenie for this stream tonight. So basically, those bits go to our players, minus taxes, because Twitch does tax us. Judy just gave Disco biddies.
Thanks, Disco Tits. Love you.
We love Junie. Thank you so much, Junie. All right, and coming up over the next week, you know what? We need disco tits. Yeah. We need disco tits. Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. Sparkly tits from the powdered sugar. That was Monster Hearts. That's on our YouTube. my God. I'm reading
Well,
chat. I need to stop. Coming up over
Raylan's
the
all
next...
slap happy.
I know, right? Coming up over the next week, we have on Saturday, London Esoteric Society, which is Call of Cthulhu 7E set in Victorian London, run by our amazing European GM, Dr. Tiss. It starts at 3 p.m. Eastern, so join her and her group of investigators as they do all the wrong stuff. I mean, all the wrong stuff. They are investigating cultist stuff going on in Victorian London, and they are reading all the books. They are summoning elder beings. Some might even be becoming elder being servants at this point. They are losing sanity at an alarming rate and burning through luck like it's money burning a hole in their pocket. So please join them at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday for that and just absolutely bonkers stream. And on Sunday, you can join Shanky as your boy Twitch. You saw him in this stream as Max Shankrum, whatever. I can't freaking say it. But he also does your boy Twitch, which is an old Elder Malkavian that gives summaries of our seasons. So join him at 5 p.m. Eastern for a season summary of season 8, sorry, of Windy City After Dark. I can't keep it straight. I just can't. It's season 8 of Windy City After Dark. And then on Tuesday, we aren't going to be streaming Mage.
We could do a Q&A. It just came to me out of nowhere.
That was Shanky, the tech weenie, talking on the management channel.
Yes. Sorry, chat. You do not hear the disembodied voice that we are all
Okay, here's the
to.
disembodied voice. They hear me now.
Yes, I said weenie.
We're not supposed to look behind the curtain though.
I encourage a cast Q&A next Tuesday because this was a hell of a chronicle overall.
Yeah, I'm good with it. If you
I'm
guys
good
are
with it. Everybody good with that? Since we were planning to play anyway?
My Tuesdays
Sure.
are golden even afterwards.
All
so.
right. So next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we will all be here live to answer your viewer questions about Mage the Ascension, the Neon Chronicle. Because it was neon something every season.
Yeah. By the end
Neon
of this,
clusterfuck.
yeah, by the
Neon
end of this, we
clusterfuck.
were all glowing like a neon sign in a window. Jesus.
Yes. So join us then. And of course, the last thing I'm going to say as we head on out of here, we at McStabber Studios are very, very big on supporting those around us in our community and really making sure that people take care of themselves, or at least we encourage that as best we can. We know everyone's going to make decisions that they want to make, but we try to encourage people to take care of themselves. If you are struggling, I know right now is hard. It's hard for me. Myself, Shanky, a lot of folks in our community actually deal with mental health concerns. And it's something I've lived with my whole life, and certain things have gotten better, but certain things have gotten worse as I've aged, like the seasonal affective disorder. Definitely, if you are finding you are struggling, please reach out to your support network if you have one. If you do not, right now in chat, if you are in crisis, there are multiple crisis lines you can call or text to get support. And if you are outside of the U.S., there is also a link to Find a Helpline, where they actually have crisis resources available for over 140 countries. So you can put in your country and you can pull up crisis resources based on where you're located. And I, Mama McStabber, am a registered nurse. Timber Brad here is also a registered nurse. We're going to tell you to get your damn shots.
Get your damn shot.
Last Friday, Mama got the flu shot and the COVID booster. In this arm, I'm perfectly fine now. But I'm good. Seriously, get your shots. it's going to be a nasty winter. We have already, early in the season, had an uptick in flu. RSV is going nuts with the little kids and little babies. So much so that there are hospitals that don't have beds anymore for babies and kids because so many of them are sick. COVID is still a thing and it still kills people. So please get your shots. And I will say being nice is being nice is a good thing, but it's performative. Being kind is genuine. So be kind to those around you. Sometimes being kind isn't always being nice. But be kind. Because nobody needs to be abused, manipulated, used, coerced, anything like that. Nobody enjoys it. That is trauma-inducing. So just be kind to those around you. And, well, as the golden rule says, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. And that really is only possible if you don't have biases towards people and prejudices. Enough lives have been lost because of hate. Not just here in America, but worldwide. Enough's enough. Let's just be kind. Said with love. Good night.
And stick around. We're raiding Dork Tales, everybody.